Well, it's mid-April and I'm back in the greenhouse again. My cucumbers, sweet peppers and tomatoes are all coming on nicely and I'm just about to sow some courgettes. But the question I've got for you today is, does it make financial sense? Does growing your own actually pay? So I've always assumed that the answer to that question is yes. You only need to look at the price of salad veg, for example, in the supermarket, and it would just seem on anecdotal basis alone to be cheaper. But last year I thought, no, I'll conduct a scientific experiment and track all of my costs and all of the produce. So how did I do that? Well, from the costs point of view, the two main costs I've got are compost, because I mainly grow in planters and pots, and also seeds. Those are the two main things. A little bit of fertilizer every now and again. In terms of the produce, I weighed every single item of produce, from cucumbers through tomatoes, through rhubarb, the lot, everything that came out of the garden. And I've tracked that in a spreadsheet for the whole season, that's 2025. So in this video, I'm going to present my costs and the value. And that way I can answer the question, does growing your own actually pay? Hi, I'm Chris, and welcome to the Handyman at Home channel. Before I dive into the numbers, it's worth a quick tour around the garden to see what growing space I've got. So we start off, I've got a 10 by 6 greenhouse, a little bit of concrete space there where I tend to put my runner beans. As we go down the garden, I've got two raised beds that I made a couple of years ago. One of my two beds of rhubarb. This was supposed to be a potting bench, but it tends to be used for growing outdoor tomatoes in the right hand side, and then just as general staging for things like lettuce and other veg. And then over the other side of the garden, got another bed of rhubarb along the back fence there. Some raspberry canes, don't do very well with those, certainly didn't last year. And that's pretty much it, nothing much up at this end, another raspberry cane all on its own. So that's pretty much my growing space. So what do I grow? Well, tomatoes, fresh, juicy and full of taste. These are my greenhouse stars. Even the most expensive supermarket organic offerings come nowhere close to them, even if I say so myself. Courgettes and cucumbers, the heavy hitters. These are the other workhorses of my garden. Lettuce. We eat lots, and I mean lots of lettuce, so a constant supply throughout the season is a must. Sweet peppers. Although often a bit wonky in shape, there's nothing wonky about their taste. Rhubarb, the permanent resident requiring little effort and attention. They're the gift that keeps on giving. And finally, runner beans, the vertical climbers, essential for saving space in a smaller garden, ideal for stews and lots of other dishes. I do occasionally dabble with a few others, but these are my lucky 7. Starting with my input costs then, by far and away my biggest expense is compost, given I grow largely in containers or directly in the bags themselves. Over the years I've tried various types and brands, but have found that Clover Multipurpose gives the best results for me. I know people say you shouldn't use peat-based compost, but the alternatives just don't deliver as far as I'm concerned. Making my own compost would clearly have a significant impact on my costs, but I've never had much success with that. However, I do try and recycle as much of it as I can, which is why in August and September I get some of those costs back. I don't tend to use a lot of fertiliser, mainly fish, blood and bone meal, and of course Tomorite or similar for the tomatoes. I try and keep my seed costs below £10 or so per year, mainly by saving the cucumber, courgette and runner bean seeds. I get great results using seeds from supermarket bought sweet peppers as well, and so it's mainly tomato and lettuce seeds that I buy. Finally, I've included some so-called capital costs, such as pots, garden canes, etc. But as these last for years, I've just allocated a fifth of the cost per year. With total input costs of nearly £160 then, I'm going to have to go some to get that money back and make it all pay. On to the harvest then. I weighed every single item of produce and then looked up on the Tesco website what that exact weight would have cost me at the time of the harvest. And this is the spreadsheet that resulted. Yes, I'm a spreadsheet nerd. Why Tesco? Well, that's where we buy the bulk of our groceries. If you normally shop at Aldi, Lidl, Asda, etc., then the prices will obviously be different. But if I didn't grow it, Tesco would be where we bought it. I only used prices for their standard products, so no budget range items and equally no organic ranges, although you could argue that I should add a price premium for my organically grown produce. Looking at it month by month, whilst I started harvesting some produce in June and July, it's only by late August through September and October that the real value comes in, the bulk of which is down to the tomatoes. In total, I pulled in 116 kilos of produce. That's £255 for our American friends, the bulk of which came from tomatoes at approximately 50 kilos, cucumbers at 25 kilos and courgettes at 21 kilos. As you'd expect from those figures, the biggest earner by far was the tomatoes at over £220. What do you do with so many tomatoes, I hear you ask? Well, apart from salads, of course, some get used in cooked dishes, some for tomato sauce, some get frozen for later use, and the green ones go for chutney. And my daughters will always take some off our hands, for free of course. Adding it all up then, last year I grew produce to the value of £430. Well, the maths is clear. £430 in value minus £160 in cost equals a profit of £270. The garden officially paid for itself, and then some. But let's be real, that doesn't factor in labour. If I charge myself an hourly wage for every moment spent sowing, potting, repotting, evenings spent watering, and all those other related tasks, these would be the most expensive tomatoes in history. However, you can't put a price on the quality. A tomato from a plastic carton tastes nothing like a freshly picked tomato from the vine. The fulfilment. There's a huge level of satisfaction from eating something you started from a tiny seed. And finally, the fresh air. Gets me outside, keeps me out of trouble. Is it worthwhile then? Economically, yes, if you choose the right crops. Emotionally, absolutely. My advice: start small, grow what you love to eat, and don't forget to enjoy the sunshine. Thanks for watching. Give me a thumbs up by clicking that like button, and don't forget to subscribe. Hope to see you next time, and happy growing. Cheers.